Welcome to Home Cinema and Tech Review. In this video, I'm going to try to explain, this video won't be long. The topic is why you can't project over 120 or up top 150 with the ultra short throw projectors. The image that you see is belonging to Epson LS300, which I will probably take out in a couple of seconds or minutes. Basically, right now what you're watching is 75-inch to 80-inch-ish size. I haven't measured it. It is just roughly the size, and it's focused, it's bright. The ambient lights of the room is open. The camera is tuned to auto to give you an eye exposure because your eyes are auto-adjusting. Let me just hit the color mode. Right now it's in the kind of like echo mode because it's cinema. When I push the bright cinema, it will bounce up the brightness, but the camera will adjust. Let me just do that. The brightness gets high, but this is not the extreme brightness mode. The dynamic is crazy. So I'm not going to go dynamic, but with the cinema mode, I'm going to pull out the Epson LS300 and create around, well, 120-ish. So if I go here, I will have to readjust the focus, and I probably adjust the focus enough. So this is roughly 120-inch image because the unit and the wall is about 135, and probably we have 30 plus centimeters gap from this wall, but we are hitting the unit there. This is about 120-inch roughly. So they recommend 120-inch. What if you go above that limit? What's the limitation of the ultra short throw that's doing the limit? Like every optical element has limitations, even with the long throw projectors. Let me just before update the brightness level from cinema to bright cinema to increase the brightness and even push it to the dynamic. So right now this is pretty immersive bright, but as you can see, the left is kind of like falling. It's not just because of the video, but edges are getting softer at 120. You can still consider this is a very watchable image, 120, but around the edges you start to see the distortion because you have a curved surface, projected image, and also image is happening in a very short distance, and you got a limit. Let me just push the projector a little further away to create a bigger image. I am pulling it out. Okay, right now this is the 100. Well, I guess right now the image is 135. Yeah, if I push it a little bit, yes, this is 135-inch-ish. So I have to focus again. Okay, 135. Okay, so 135, still watchable, but I've started to see distortions at the bottom, not maybe the up, a little bit there, a little bit of there. But what about the bigger sizes, like 150 and above, and why? I'm going to talk about this. I want you to see it before, and then I'm going to explain. Like every optical element, there's a limitation, right? So if I hold it and get it far back, like a couple of centimeters, so I'm going to pull this table. I don't want to get too high with the image. Okay, so when I pull back, the image goes high, and that's normal because we are projecting 45 plus, right? So the wall is 200 inches. So I'm going back, and I'm going to go way back at the table, and I'm going to try to focus for the picture. Okay. Right now, I can't really exactly focus. I have reached the limit. This is the end of the projector's limit. And this is about 150-inch size. Up top 150, and I reached the limit of the lever. I can't go further. But if I go further with the projector, that image will have a problem. And also you're seeing the image is going too high when you pull it out. So even if I put it on the ground, let me just do that. I will take the unit. There's a small table, and I will take the projector. And this is just for example. This is a huge stuff, and I will put it on the ground on the same distance. Okay, I put it on the ground. Look, still I am, get the table out of the way. I'm still getting, the visual is too high because I'm projecting with a 45-degree angle. If you want to project 200 inches, this wall is 200 inch. You got to go way back. And when I do that, this image will be reflected probably 30%, maybe even more, to the ceiling. That is the first problem. Even if you agree to the loss on the sharpness of the edges and overall sharpness, because you're going to go way back, like a, let's just say, cinematic scene, because many of you have been asking at the comments, like, I'm a performer, I'm a singer, I'm a theatrical performer, I want something at the background. That's good, because when I stand here, you're going to see me inside of a forest behind me. That's good. But the problem is the forest needs to be too high. It's not going to be level with your ground. It cannot be. It's not a long throw projector. If you decide to approach like that, I suggest get a scene, create a scene if you can, and put your long throw above to the ceiling or somewhere high, and then project without hitting the actors at the back and correct the image if possible, because the long throw projectors won't be having the distortion problem. But by the way, when I say it like this, you shouldn't be expecting every ultra short throw projector can throw a big image like this. No, they can't. Some of them has limitations. Early in the channel, I reviewed old Epson model. I think it was EB 685WI, and it was for school purpose, 720p. It couldn't give above about 90 inches. And if you go 100 and above, it was 720p. It was failing to focus. It wasn't acting like this. So this is an expensive, considering the specs. It's not too expensive if you ask me, but $1,200 to $1,500 ultra short throw projector with a lot more power to give, from 3,600 ANSI lumens on the declaration. Let me just dial down the picture menu from dynamic to bright cinema, because the dynamic range shows itself. But when you look at the better dynamic range, of course, you see some problems. You see contrast is going down. By the way, the ambient light is open for you to see me. When you go big, of course, the image gets larger, but the brightness is, contrast is dimming down. So when I do that, this is a darkroom setup. Clearly, everything can easily be watchable at this stage. So let's go back and check something else from the same channel. 8K Paradise. Let's find a channel. Let's play something else. Give you an idea. Let's take a look. 8K Paradise. Nope. I want you to see the resolution, but probably, yeah, resolution is there. Yes, it's, by the way, it's giving a much more brighter, larger image because of this chair on the way, I suppose. Yes, right now, yeah, we are getting bigger. This is about, if I push it around this side, this is about giving, yeah, finally, if I can match it. This is about 100 and, yeah, when you add to that, this is about 180-inch image. And it is really showing the limits of this device. I wouldn't recommend it. Sharpness is around the edges. It might be visible for you, viable for you, usable for you, but for me, like the Epson declares, 120, up tops 150. And again, don't get this to account that every ultra short throw might not be able to deliver such a stuff. And let me just take the camera and walk in the front why you wouldn't want to do that. Let me just do that and get the camera. Okay, this is this amount of height that you really need to have. See that? Whole table height like 75 centimeters, and the visual is about probably 50 to 60 centimeter high from the ground. So it's not leveled with the ground itself. So that's what the problem actually is. You might think this is a good looking image from the where you are standing, but basically it's quite high. It's not suitable for backdrop or phone style visual. And the contrast, of course, it's not going to be ideal because we don't have a screen. If you're going to go big sizes like 150, I suggest to find a ALR screen, whether it is lenticular or Fresnel style. You should find some sort of ALR screen to create contrast and better reflections. And I would recommend 4K definitely for this sort of sizes. And still check your projection throw ratio to calculate the height. And again, you can do way better, way sharper with the long throw projectors. That's why people prefer still over 120, 150 inch, not ultra short throws, long throws. Because when you pull the ultra short throw, 1.5 meter, or at least in this condition, it's 1 meter away from this wall. When you put it 1 meter away, it feels like not ultra short throw, but a short throw territory. So it means you're actually, let's just say, for a short throw, you can create 100 inch from 1.2 meters. And it feels like a short throw, not ultra short throw anymore. So you have lost the purpose of this device. The first purpose is get close to the wall and create a big image. When you put it out in somewhere middle, it doesn't make sense. It loses the purpose of it. So, and of course the price is higher. Why do you want to spend 2 or 3 or 4 times much more money that a device, that can give you from very close to the wall, and you have to pull it back? It's heavy, it's bulky, it's much more expensive considering the long-throw projector, and it's just going to give you a less sharper image when you go wider. So what's the point? That's why people don't use ultra short throw projectors for oversized images. Still, long throw for the cinema experience wins. And also the distortion is feelable, but you have to, check side-by-side projectors, and this is a good projector, okay? If you buy something else, you might probably overall experience something much more worse than this, but actually around the corners, I can clearly say this is losing sharpness. That's obvious. And these areas are getting less sharpness here. And you can pinch the image. This is a 4K video that you're watching. So let me know what you think at the comment section below. I hope this video gave you enough information not to use ultra short throws for big screens like this on the ground for a backdrop, for any kind of occasion. I highly recommend check the long throw projectors and their throw ratios and your power output that you need for the screen size. Because over 120, 150 inch, you need 3000 ANSI lumen and above, depending on your need of contrast and brightness. Hope to see you in the next video, home cinema and tech review. Bye.